Yes, we're live and we're back for kind of a look back on the Europa League. We've obviously got Arsenal in the Europa League against Olympiacos on Thursday, but this is a special sort of look back at the sort of I call it of a car crash of a way of getting through the Europa League. But I'm sure our guest Cristiano Oliveira, if I've said that wrong, mate, I really do apologize. But yeah, you're obviously a Benfica fan, and as we welcome you to the channel, first of all, how are Benfica getting on so far?
I mean, well, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you guys for having me on. It's a pleasure coming on here and having to relive these terrible 90 minutes once again. I thought I was past them, but thank you guys for inviting me to relive this once again. And if it was a car crash for you guys with the 3-2 victory, imagine what it felt like for us then. I mean, I don't know what kind of accident we could describe ours, or that feeling, that moment, that afternoon, which is just something that is going to stick with me for a while here. Benfica, listen, they've invested a lot of money this year. I've been on a couple of other programs with Arsenal fan TV projects, and I think everyone's pretty much in agreement that you just swap out the name, and the seasons have pretty much been identical for both clubs. They have similar problems. Benfica spent a ton of money this offseason. Brought in the coach that previously had a successful stint at the club, had just won the Libertadores with Flamengo. So huge expectations for everyone, and pretty much has just been disappointment after disappointment. Started off at the beginning of the season when you go into the Champions League play-in game. We lose to PAOK 2-1. One-legged affair this time as opposed to two legs. I have no doubt that if Benfica were to play PAOK at home for the second leg, that they'd easily advance in a 3-0 victory. But that wasn't the case. Obviously, it was one leg, and credit to PAOK, they took advantage of the situation. They wound up beating us 2-1. And then just to tell you guys and describe a little bit more of how disastrous it's been, the guy that ultimately scored the goal that knocked Benfica out of the Champions League for the 2-1 victory, right, was a player that Benfica had just released a week and a half earlier, Zivkovic. So that, talk about a kick in the cojones. That was definitely a little extra. And then obviously after that, Benfica started the season, had a couple of impressive victories, but then it was just disappointment after disappointment. We've not played anywhere near the level we all anticipated and expected these players to play in. We got knocked out of, Taça da Liga. We've pretty much were 13 points, if I'm not mistaken, as we stand right now behind first place Sporting, who's in first place for the first time in 19 years. That's usually how they do it. They win a championship every 19 to 20 years or so. But nonetheless, Benfica finds themselves fighting for a Champions League spot. Now, we're fortunate that this season Portugal has been able to overtake and jump over Russia in the coefficiency, right? I believe we're sixth now, right behind France, which they're in fifth. So Portugal gets another team into the Champions League. So the first and second qualify automatically. Third place will have to go to a playoff game. And so, I mean, Benfica is fortunate as that right now, but we're still planning and hoping that Benfica is able to secure second place. We're only, if Braga wins today, Benfica will be 4 points out of second place. So still very close there. But yeah, nonetheless, at the end of the day, it's been disappointment after disappointment. COVID hit. We had 11 or 12 players out at one time, and it's taken them a while to get to where we're at today. We had a very comfortable win yesterday against Belenenses. Not the best first half. In the second half, though, we destroyed them. Scored 3 goals early and put the game out of reach. So it was one of the most comfortable wins we've had in a very, 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 very long time. But it still doesn't take away the sting that it's been a disappointment all season long.
Yeah, we're just going to bring Relentless Well is back into the chat. How are you, into the show? How are you? Yeah, just going to run through some of these comments first. Right. Atomic Puppet High. Marley, big up the panel. Record in Portuguese de Pro. I think you probably know what that means.
Abraço em português para o Cristiano. He's sending me a hug in Portuguese. That's what he's saying. Big up,
Okay,
Charlie.
okay.
Big up,
Yeah,
brother.
big. We call him Marley because we got many Charlies over here, so we call him Marley. So, or you might want to see his hair. It's Jesus. But hi, Charlie. I've been very busy with work, but we'll catch up with this later. No worries. Retro NUFC, how are you? Hey, how are you? Yeah, we're doing okay. Go subscribe to his channel as well. Go subscribe to Relentless's channel, Everything Football. Do you have a channel, Cristiano? Do you want to promote?
10CO10. I'm pretty much 10CO10 on all the social media platforms. I have a few videos, don't really do much when it comes to what you guys do, but I intend to start a couple new projects in the very near future that I think a lot of you guys will be interested. So check it out, 10CO10, Twitter, IG, YouTube, everything else.
Yeah, big up to that. So yeah, I think from our point of view is that obviously we've been knocked out of the FA Cup, we've been knocked out of the Carabao Cup. In terms of top four, we ain't getting top four, and we need Champions League football if we're going to ever progress as a club and under this manager. And the way this season's gone has been an absolute car crash. From start to finish, it's just been poor after poor after poor. At one point, we're 16th. What I didn't get is after the Tottenham result is that we were getting worse and worse, and I turned Arteta out after that Tottenham result because the way we played, you don't do that against Tottenham, and that's the end of it. But it's just a crime. But there are just unfortunately some fans want to stick by him, and they've got justified reasons. But it's again like with the Wenger in out debate, it's one side or the other. And even when we were 16th, the board was still backing him, so it doesn't look like he's going to go anytime soon. But for me, I don't see anything progressing forward with Arsenal, and through our own doing. The Europa League is the only real hope we've got of probably even getting any sort of European football. We've got the UEFA Conference League probably coming in next year, and we're struggling to even stay in the top 10 so we can be in that. So it's looking really, really, really sort of embarrassing for as Arsenal as a football club, and we're just seeing what the real problems are at this football club. And the fact we played Benfica and we struggled, and I mean struggled to get through that game, which just absolutely embarrassing in terms of where we used to be as a football club. We used to be celebrating great nights like Champions League of Juventus, or beating Real Madrid, or beating Inter Milan, the San Siro sort of thing. Now we're struggling in the round of 32 of the Europa League, and some fans celebrate it like we've won the actual tournament, which is just out. I don't get at all. So yeah, for me, this manager is not the right manager for this club. Hasn't got the right. He hasn't get what he's got. He's not getting the best out of, and it's clear to see that with the squad that we've got, because it shouldn't be 10th, and it shouldn't be struggling in the Europa League like it is. It should be one of the favourites. So, God knows what Olympiacos is going to do. And like you said, when that second goal for Benfica went in, my head had snapped by that point. I've got that reaction clipped. It is on YouTube. It is my reaction. I had gone, and I had definitely gone by that point. So when they pulled it back to three, what was it? I can't remember. It's just that bad. But when they got to even pulled it back to go equalizer, and then
2-2.
to win, 2-2,
and then 3-2, 87th minute.
And then 3-2. I was like, I don't even care now, because we ain't gonna win this tournament the way we're playing, and it's just anyone that was mentioning Arteta in or anything like that, I was just having a go at. So my head had gone, so I wasn't probably celebrating as much as some fans. So, but it's just probably, if you saw the reaction, it was just more the emotion of where our football club has got to, and how upset it is to see where our club is now to where it used to be when we last won the title. So, yeah, so Olympiacos going to be a struggle, but yeah, Relentless. What would you make
Let
of
me.
the?
Um,
Gone.
so one of the things I was gonna say is let's look back at the first leg first.
Yeah.
Cristiano, when I first saw the lineup, right, the for the very first game,
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts were, because I was looking at it for a while, and I thought, you guys didn't play your best players. You didn't start your best players in the first game. But I felt like Rafa would be like one of the players that would start, and he didn't start. I think you said like Verasmo, Lucas Verasmo, your right center back.
Verissimo. Mm-hmm.
Verissimo.
Yeah.
You said he was young and he just came in.
That was his very first game. Benfica
He did extremely well. We had just
acquired him from Santos, who had just lost the Copa Libertadores finals to Palmeiras a week and a half earlier. And so he made his European debut in that game against you guys. And Benfica had pretty much for much of the season, they'd been playing a 4-4-2 system with a couple of changes here and there in the 3-5-2. And in that game against Arsenal, you throw in a guy who had never played in European football, making his debut in such a, obviously it's the round of 32. It's not the semifinals or, the prestigious finals. But at the end of the day, it's still a club like Arsenal with the exceptional talents, the Sakas of the world, the Obama Yangs of the world, the Pepes of the world, the Odegaards, and I could just keep going on and on and on, because you do have a roster filled with fantastic players. Whether they're performing to their abilities or not, that's another story. But they're still on paper, they're still magnificent names. And you bring in a guy in from South America who there's always going to be that thought of doubt in your head. Can I play at the same level that I'm accustomed to playing in Europe? We all hear that playing in Europe is a totally different beast. And, bro, the guy's going to be struggling with this the night before. He's not going to be able to sleep much. And then on top of it, you throw in the caliber of team that Arsenal is. It posed a huge threat. But now credit to him, credit to the coaching staff. They identified that this guy can play at this level, and obviously they know the player a lot better than I do. And look, to his credit, he came in, played spectacularly well. I thought he was fantastic. And just another guy that Benfica could absolutely count on going forward. Scored his first goal for Benfica yesterday against Belenenses, third goal of the game. So again, I was surprised that he was in the starting lineup. I was surprised not to see Rafa, but I understood what he did with the Rafa and the Cebolinha, Everton Cebolinha, guy that we purchased as well from Grêmio in Brazil, Brasileirão. This guy's a regular on the Brazilian national team, the leading goal scorer in the last Copa America. With Neymar being out, he was the star, their go-to guy. I believe there was rumors last summer that you guys were trying to acquire him at a point. So I was surprised these guys weren't starting, but at the same time, I understood the thought behind it, because they have the wheels, right? One thing that you can't teach, guys, and you watch football your whole lives, you're very well aware of this. You can't teach size and speed, and that's exactly what both of those guys have: speed. They don't have the size; they're both midgets, but they got wheels on them. And so I thought using these guys later on in the game, when maybe Arsenal's a little bit fatigued, to catch them on a counterattack, because we all knew you guys were going to have most of the possession. And so I thought, it was a risk worth taking. Now, the second game, they were both there. I mean, Rafa started, and he was Benfica's best player in that game, and we saw why he's Benfica's most dangerous player. When that guy is on, you can't stop him. But it's just, man, I can't believe I'm reliving this again. Yeah, look, after that first game, we had hope. Yeah. Arsenal, like I said, when you're looking at both teams on paper, Arsenal were absolutely the favorites. I thought Benfica came into this game with no pressure. The only thing I kind of want to dig at Steve here is, he's like, oh, here we are struggling with the Benficas of the world. And I understand. I get, when you're in the big bad boy English Premier League and you're spending, hundreds of millions of euros, and you're looking at a team like Benfica. I get it when that thought creeps into it. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a team that fights year in, year out. In these European spots. Benfica is a team that's accustomed to playing in big pressure moments. I get it. I'm not going to get on you. I'm pretty sure that there's some of my followers that will listen to this and they'll get on me for not getting on you initially,
You can get
for
on
kind
me
of dissing on
if you
Benfica
want
like
to,
that.
man. You
But
can. No, I'm not dissing that. Look, I don't diss Benfica like that. They're a good club. They're a well-run club, and
They're a massive club, man. They have
they're a
legends.
massive club there in
Massive.
Portugal. One of the favourites in the league all the time.
it's only
Especially
3
with the
teams,
likes-
bro. It's hard not to be one of the favorites. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Didn't you
No,
save you?
but
Didn't you
look,
save
look.
you?
Yeah,
before,
Eusebio. Yeah, Eusebio obviously came up with us, won the
but
Champions
like I
League.
said, I'm not this Olympiacos. I'm not dissing
But in fairness to that statement you just made, though,
Benfica.
in one of the other podcasts, you did say like in the second half, coaches
Yeah,
make
yeah,
good adjustments, right, and get you. So Arteta, for me, did not make any. This is the problem I had with Arteta all year. His in-game management skills are terrible, and so
He's a
like,
rookie.
I mean,
He's a rookie. He's always
he's a
gonna have
rookie in that sense. So that's like one of the things. Like, and I figured like when I looked at the Benfica game, like you said, like he'd make adjustments. He didn't really make many good adjustments. The only good thing I feel that came out of that second one, and because it was so close, and you guys pretty much stole the hearts, like in that sense, like is you got Willian going, and now he's like on a roll.
That's what we do. That's what we do. We bring your worst players to play against us, and somehow, some way, we get their confidence up. But it's funny you talk about tactical and adjustments, and we as Benfiquistas, we thought that Jorge Jesus, we thought that his 3 substitutions in the 56th minute, a lot of people criticized those moves because that was a time that Benfica kind of look. We all knew Arsenal was going to start off on a better foot. We all knew they're going to throw everything at us that they could, and then it was going to take, just like in the first game. Benfica started to believe in themselves, and you could tell they started possessing the ball. They started being a lot more comfortable on the ball. And coming into the second half, I thought Benfica with Delta Opt and Pizzi in the middle, I thought we had a good grasp of things, right? We didn't have the control of the game, but we weren't giving away control of the game as well. And once he makes that substitution and he takes both of those guys out of the middle, we absolutely lost our midfield from that point forward. So I think, you guys criticize your coach for not making some adjustments. Our coach did make adjustments, and obviously they didn't go to our favor. We got lucky. It kind of masked those substitutions. The fact that our goalkeeper gets the ball, picks up his head, he sees Rafa's on, has an opportunity to spring forward with Ceballos in the back, and we got lucky. Ceballos didn't get everything on the ball, and Rafa gets on it. Credit to him for always believing the guy has wheels; he could catch up to anything. And so that goal, the fact that we went up 2-1, it masked those initial substitutions. But to this day, I would have been okay with taking out either Pizzi or Adele, but not both, I should say. You cannot take out both at the same time, because from that moment on, Benfica totally lost the midfield. You guys started having more control of the ball, and then you equalize 7 minutes later, right, for Everton, who came in. But again, Benfiquistas that are criticizing Everton for that poor defensive effort in a box. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that Adel Taarabt and Pizzi wouldn't have been any better defensively. We know those guys defensively, they just get their bodies in a way, and they try to just to do the very best they can, but they're not any good at it. And as I told you guys, Steven and the rest of you guys, I had no doubt in my mind that Arsenal was going to level things. I had no doubt. It was 30. We scored in the 61st minute. It was another 30.
I wish you DM me at the time. Jesus.
No, but I had no doubt it was coming. But my only hope, I was just, on my knees and praying to the Lords and to Eusebio up there, like, man, just look, hold off for like 20, 25 minutes, because they're going to get their equalizer. But as the pressure starts to mount on a team like Arsenal, who this is their last grasp for any type of Champions League football next season, right? This is how you salvage your season. The pressure is going to start to mount. Maybe these guys start, forcing a little, unforced errors here and there, forcing a pass. And I was just hoping once that goal goes in 7 minutes later, to me, then it just became, a matter of time before you guys got the lead, and obviously you did. You made us suffer all the way to the end, 87th minute. I kind of wish you would have done it earlier, because we were believing, man. I was like, I can't. You guys have to understand, just like I was just messing with you a minute ago, Steven, about, look, you're playing Benfica. You're not playing any just, raggedy team, right? But at the end of the day, we do have that chip on our shoulders. We understand that people outside of European football don't really look at Portuguese league and Portuguese teams with the respect that we feel we deserve, because if you look at every major European team, they have Portuguese players. You know what I'm saying? But I think Portuguese teams do relatively well in European competitions, and when you consider the amount of money that they spend. Benfica this year spent nearly 100 million, which is a record fee in Portuguese football. It's never happened before. This was, you know, a one-off, right? But normally they spend 30 million. That's what you guys get for a backup for the B team and a reserve team at Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? So Portuguese teams absolutely need more respect. They deserve more respect throughout Europe. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when we have an opportunity to knock off a giant, Arsenal, from the English Premier League, trust me, man, this is, you know, it's our chance and our opportunity to tell everybody, look at us. And so we were hoping, man, it was close. It was close. But then damn Aubameyang had to show up and mess things up for us.
Well, the thing was, it wasn't that. I think we won because of our individual talent in some ways, because Saka and Aubameyang saved us. But at the same time, like, I mean, you're right. I'm surprised you guys didn't attack Bellerin more. If I'm going to be honest, like,
that's the thing. I feel that it was down to individual brilliance in the end, right? Because I remember, like I said, I remember the second goal going in, and then the immediate reaction was what really drove it was the fact that Willian was coming on. Right, Willian was coming on, and yes, people say he got an assist, right? But this guy has not been there for 20-odd-5 games, right? Let's put it out there. He's not been there. He might have played in the last few games for Arsenal now. But to that point, at that point, he had done nothing. Nada. Not a thing. So the fact that
Stephen, when you're done, can I make a point real quick?
Yeah. I'll just finish this. The fact that Martinelli was on. Yeah, I was like, the fact that Martinelli was on the bench along with him, and he picked Willian over Martinelli, just really drove my anger even further. So, but relentless.
So, Stephen, what do you want me to? Because I kind of have my own questions for Cristiano. Do you want me to talk about the game first before I go on to ask a question?
Yeah, you can go on a game and then ask a question. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll go to the game. We'll talk about Benfica, like as a team, as a club, and then
want to see the reaction,
and then Portugal at the very end. So.
Oh yeah. First of all, before I say anything, that free kick, bro, that free kick was a joke. Oh my goodness. Who took that free kick again? I think it was like his first goal of the season or something. Who was it again?
Gonçalves.
Yeah. Diogo Gonçalves.
Bro, no keeper's keeping that out. So you can't even blame Arteta for that. You just have to clap your hands. But
relentless, you know what's crazy about that, right? I believe that's the first free kick he took all year.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You always see him sniffing around throughout other games when there's a free kick, and you know the Pizzi's of the world, the Grimaldos, they come and he's sniffing around, and he's young. You know what I mean? So it's kind of let me in there. And then when he stepped in there, you're like, The last time I remember having a similar feeling to that was about 3 seasons ago with the guy that I'm pretty sure most of you guys are not fond of, but Victor Lindelof, who's now center back for Manchester United. We're down one. We're down. Yeah, of course. We're down one.
Look, the freezer next to the fridge.
We're down. We're down 1-0 to Sporting at Sporting, and late in the game, and it's a free kick, and here comes our center back who hadn't taken a single free kick in his 3 years at Benfica, and you're like, what? We're like, what's the coach doing? What's going on? And all of a sudden, boom, banger. Like, oh. Yeah. It was kind of like similar like that. I don't think anybody expected the kid Gonçalves to do this, but nonetheless, man, like you said, what a fantastic free kick, man. He put her top notch, top level, and there's not many keepers going to get to that. And if there are, there's like maybe one, but he's cheating. He's definitely cheating on that side already.
Listen, when Rafa Silva was running clean through on goal, I said, you know what? I put my hands up. I was like, yeah, Arsenal Football Club, we're done. We are done. When he was running through, I was like, yeah, it's over. It's over. And like that whole game, it just screamed Olympiacos. But I think the thing that was kind of in our favor is the fact that Rafa Silva scored in, what was it, the 50th something minute? So we had a lot of time. Yeah, 61st. So if he scored like in the 81st or the 85th, I'd be like, yeah, like. But in my back of my head, when he scored, I was like, we have a chance, but knowing this football club, it's typical. We're gonna get knocked out. And I do think you guys played way the first leg. I was expecting, I was like shitting myself the first leg because I was like, yeah, Benfica they're gonna absolutely play us off the park because obviously, like I haven't watched Benfica in like a couple seasons ever since João Felix left because I'm a big João Felix fan as well. I think listen. I'm sure you know it, but I think he's winning the Ballon d'Or in a couple of years. He's brilliant.
Not at Atletico.
Yeah, not under Simeone, but
Not on the
listen,
same-
if he goes to City, he links up with Silva and all them, and it's gonna be
Oh
peak.
no.
Oh my God. Listen, if Pep Guardiola gets his hands on that guy, I swear to God, he's gonna end football. But listen, I haven't watched you guys in a couple seasons, so I didn't really know how you guys played. And basically, I was talking to some Benfica fans, and they were kind of saying the state of the club, how they don't really like the way it's going. The coach is under a bit of pressure and whatnot. And I looked at your center backs. I was like, they got some experienced center backs. Premier League proven center backs. I was like, it's gonna be hard, man. That first leg, you didn't really do much, and I was like, you know what, we might actually win this. But then going into that second leg, when Rafa scored, I was like, yeah, it's over. It's over. But to be fair, I don't think it was a tactical masterclass by Arteta for me. Like just watching the pass of play in the game, then how the game played out, it seemed like it was more individual brilliance. And looking back at that game, it's like
some people wanted to point out
yeah,
that comeback. I saw some Arsenal fans like on a particular well-known channel on YouTube, right, that as soon as they beat Benfica, right, it was classed as what a comeback. Arteta's a tactical genius. This is a problem. These fans that want the Arteta in a minute when they go and win a game like that, they all go about Arteta. He's done this. He's done that. Let's all praise him like he's a god, right? When we lose, it's always the player's fault or the board's fault or the ref's fault. It's never anyone else's fault rather than the manager. And that game was individual brilliance getting us back in that game. That wasn't Arteta. That was individual brilliance.
I tell you, there's only one person I know was happier that you guys were able to turn this game around and come away with the win. There's only one person happier than Arteta, and that was Danny Ceballos, who committed the foul that led to the goal, and then on that mishap on the not getting it. I think he might have been the only person happier than Arteta to come away with the victory.
But the thing which really wound me up with is the fact that they coming on here, and it's not having a go at Benfica because Benfica are a world good side, but when you've struggled in a game like that and you've just got back to creep through, you shouldn't be coming onto a fan channel show looking like Europe. We've done this, we've won the World Cup with this, with that, and all the other. Because we really are struggling, right? In a and to be honest, the way it went about it, I wouldn't have cried too much if Benfica did go through, because the way you played it, we played right into your hands, right? Because you knew you weren't going to be stronger, so you sat back and played counter-attacking football. And yes, we made mistakes, but yes, you played into our counter-attacking football to your strengths. And in the end, we were lucky to get past. And if Benfica went through, no one would have really moaned saying that was an unfair result, to be honest. So that's what really winds me up. And it just shows how far our fans' standards have dropped since 2004.
I just think this whole cup tie was just two clubs that entered. Cristiano, correct me if I'm wrong. It's two clubs that are in transition. Two clubs that obviously have ambition. Well, I can't really say that for Arsenal, but I'm sure Benfica looking at Sporting clear top of the league. I was just looking at the league table like last night, and I'm like, Sporting are clear of this. They're winning this. I'm sure you guys looking at that, you're pissed off, and I'm sure you guys are gonna bounce back, quicker than this because it'll probably be a bit easier to try to catch up with those teams. Yeah.
I guess like transitioning to the next topic real quick. But we saw the games now. Cristiano, who do you think are your gem pieces that will probably be sold this year, considering you made about like 865 million euros since 2015? And do you think you would have how many of those pieces do you think you should have kept? since that transfer.
All of them.
You'd have a Champions League squad
all of
with
them.
all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah, we definitely would have been challenging up there with the big boys. Look, I mean, out of all the guys that left, the one guy, there's plenty, right? But the one guy, because I know him, you know, we talk, we're friendly with one another, whatever. And that's João Felix. I absolutely love the kid.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of working with Benfica and traveling with Benfica when João made his first preseason, whatever, with the club that he eventually wound up. It was the only preseason he made with the club because he eventually wound up, tearing it up and getting sold a year later. So he's the type of player that I absolutely love. The guy could put the ball in the back of the net. He's got magic in his feet, could create. I mean, there's nothing that you can't like about this guy. This guy's just a phenomenal young talent. And I'm with Relentless. I think it's a matter of time before he starts getting his praise. I just don't think it'll be under Simeone right now. A player of his caliber should be just worried about scoring goals and putting on a show for the fans rather than having to track back and 11 men behind the ball and we all hustle, that whole crap, that whole coach speak. But that's not for a player of his caliber. So yeah, I wish we would have kept on me. But there's so many other guys. I mean, Bernardo Silva is a guy that left without really making an impact with the club. He's another phenomenal footballer. One guy that you guys aren't fond of, but I absolutely love the guy. He's one of my favorite players in the world. I've had the privilege of speaking to him as well, and he's just a blast off the field. And that's David Luiz. I know, he's
David Luiz.
Yeah, David Luiz is a fantastic.
Yeah, he did play for Benfica.
He came from us. He went to Chelsea. We actually think about this deal. We sold David Luiz to Chelsea for 30 million plus Matic.
Brought him back.
Plus Matic. And then wound up selling Matic for 30 million. So it was really 60 million that we got for David Luiz. But yeah, Matic came in as a number 10, and our coach now, who's a coach, he was there then at the time. When he first arrived from Chelsea, I was like, what's this guy doing? Like, he doesn't have what it. And then he converted him into a number 6, and he, became one of the best players at his position in world football. But yeah, those are the types of business that Benfica did. But again, there's so much. João Cancelo came from Benfica. Ederson, Jan Oblak, who's up to me, in my opinion, had nothing to do with the fact that he came from Benfica. But if I had to pick one goalie in the world, he's the best goalie in the world for me. There's just so many guys. I'm pretty sure I could sit here and name you 30 and forget another 30. So Benfica, they have this knack of developing players and churning out players. I just don't see anyone. Renato Sanchez, another guy I can't forget to mention. I absolutely love the guy. But what was I going to say? I don't see any players on this current roster that are anywhere near that type of that are anywhere near those guys. I know Benfica is going to have to sell, especially if they don't make the Champions League. God forbid we don't make the Champions League.
I say Grimaldo. Grimaldo, he's a decent left back. Do you think? Yeah, because I was thinking because when I was thinking of Portuguese league left backs, I was thinking Grimaldo, Telles. It was either between those two. Would you rate him highly, or do you think he's just?
Telles is at another level. Telles is way more. I mean, I thought he was better than them both defensively and offensively. The one thing with Grimaldo is he's not very good defensively, guys. He is not very good defensively. And then I think he's quality going forward, but I don't think Telles was next level with the ball at his feet. And then with free kicks, the dude was lights out. I do like Grimaldo, but nowhere near what anyone else praises about him. I think he's greatly overhyped. I don't think he's anywhere near the player he is. I like him, but he's been at Benfica going on 5 years now. There's a reason for that. In Portugal, if you're good,
he's not even Portuguese. He's Spanish.
We got him from
looked at by a bigger club.
Yeah, we got him from Barcelona B. Yeah, we got him from Barcelona B. Anybody that's next level, what I like to call next level, guys that could play obviously in the other monster leagues around European football. Those guys don't last 5 years in Portugal.
Wait, what about Florentino Luis? He's on
loan. Right? He's on loan at Monaco.
Is it an option to buy?
I don't believe they included an option in his contract. I don't believe so. But he's another guy that I know Valencia was trying to get him now, acquire him in the winter transfer window.
I think we would link with him. I feel like we would link to him. Or maybe I'm just making stuff up. You're talking about the defensive mid, right?
Yeah, defensive mid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, he's a quality. He's one of those players that has his tentacles everywhere. Defensively, the kid is extraordinary, right? He's always in the right place at the right time, filling all the passing lanes. He's strong, but then with the ball at his feet, that's where he leaves a lot to be. That part, that aspect of his game needs to be developed. And Benfica sent him to Monaco, where he hasn't set
He's
the
only
world on
played
fire.
5 games.
Yeah, he hasn't played a lot. So it's kind of like you just wasted a year. You're better off sending these guys to a team that you know they're going to play, 90% of the games, because those kids, when you're 19, 20 years old, the more game action you get, the better you're going to get. You need to get the kinks out of your game, right? You need to start processing the game totally different. And sending these guys to these ginormous European clubs and having these guys sit on the bench, you're better off just keeping them on the team now and let them play with the B team and kind of get adjusted and more comfortable with his teammates, and get more in tune with the coach that's there now and their tactics and their mentality. So, look, I like the kid. I think he's got a bright future, but he obviously needs to get a little bit better with the ball at his feet and needs to start springing a couple more passes forward. And I think then he'll start. Maybe he might have a better shot at cracking the Benfica 11.
Yeah.
So,
Go on.
I got a question. So when's the last time you guys won the league? Because I feel like at one point
2 years
you guys
ago.
and that's when you had João Felix,
Yes.
V Diaz, and Florentino,
Yeah, Florentino. Well, that year, so Benfica that year, we were at one point we were 7 points behind Futebol Clube do Porto. Fired the head coach, Rui Vitória, brought in Bruno Lage. Bruno Lage, who was, I believe, is rumored with you guys as well. The coach, Benfica fired him a year later, but Bruno Lage comes in, inserts João Felix into the starting lineup, Ferro into the starting lineup, Florentino into the starting lineup. He just starts playing all the kids. Benfica went to Galatasaray, beat Galatasaray in Istanbul, with the youngest ever Benfica lineup in European competitions, and everybody was just super amped up. Benfica were able to overturn a 7-point deficit, went into Estádio Dragão, which is Porto Stadium, beat them 2-1 after being down 1-0. Rafa scored, João Felix scored. Benfica were able to run into the quarterfinals, or no, might have been semis against it was semis of the Europa League. Wound up losing to Jovic, which was one of our players that was on loan there before Real Madrid picked them up. But yeah, they had a phenomenal run, fantastic run, and then
João Felix as well. That's why I really started to watch João Felix in that Europa League, man.
They wound up winning that. They wound up winning the championship, which was 2 years ago now. And then last season, Benfica were up 7 points off Futebol Clube do Porto, and Porto did the reverse. They turned it around, and Benfica collapsed. They fired Bruno Lage.
I would just want to ask Cristiano, if you looked at Arsenal at the minute, what do you think's wrong, and what do you think in terms of saying for next season, what do Arsenal need to do to try and get towards top 4? Because obviously at the minute we're not getting towards the league. We haven't won the league since 2004, let's put it that way. We ain't getting anywhere near it for a number of years now. Top 4 at the minute should be our priority in trying to get to the Champions League, get back in it, because we need it. Especially for a club like Arsenal. What would you say, as from looking at it from an outsider's point of view?
From the outside looking in, I think you need to improve your back line. Your back line, both from the outside backs to the center backs. I love David Luiz. He's the type of guy that I will love.
Fans keep telling us we got a better defensive structure and
I think
defensive record now.
The way I look at it, your back line is absolutely atrocious. It's Gabriel. He's all right. I mean, you don't have a player. Tierney, so he's a nice player. Bellerin, I think he's more interesting.
He's not a footballer.
Tierney and Gabriel, I can pick out of them too, because that back line, because
they're the better
good players, and Tierney is a great player, and he's one of those leaders. He leads by example on the pitch.
Okay, I stand corrected on Tierney. Gabriel, you're not going to convince me that he's anything excellent. He's a good player, not going to take anything, but he's not next level. Arsenal need to have world-class center backs, so you don't have any of them right now on your roster. Sorry, that's the way I look at it. Bellerin's more interested in wearing skirts than in playing football. Fantastic. He wants to be a model. Go ahead, do what you got to do. But he needs to be a little bit better, on the football pitch. So you need to improve your back line.
Sell it to this guy.
You need to improve your back line, and the other thing you need to do. And look, he reminds me a little bit of his countrymen, Fervic at Benfica. They like to get beat up by the players. They're not by the fans. they're not as bad as we make them out to be, but at the end of the day, they're just not good enough to cut it. And that's your boy Shaka. I think you need to upgrade at that position because Party, whatever, Tomas Party, I call him Party. He's good enough to play at this level, and he's obviously a player that you could count going forward. I just think
he's played for Atletico Madrid, for example.
Of course.
So.
You just need someone that's more consistent, a guy that gives you more alternatives than just a pass to the side and a little reckless tackle here and there. You need to upgrade that shot.
We need like a Raraki to play next to him. That's what I think.
Because I would say, for example, if you're looking at Xhaka and then you look at Partey, say when he's come back, he's not been fully fit at times. But even when he's been half fit, you've seen him how better he is than Xhaka or El Nini or Ceballos. So you see that even though he's half fit, he's already way better than these guys. So imagine if he's fully fit, he'd be fighting up there with he'll get in teams like Man United's or Chelsea's or Man City's because he's that type of player. He's that big time player. He did it at Atletico Madrid.
Yep. I like him. Look, I think
this
he's
guy
a guy.
Loves Gabriel. By the way, this guy loves Gabriel. He says he's better than Maguire.
Charlie? Yeah, but being better than Maguire it's like being the tallest midget in a circus. You're not exactly a giant. You know what I mean? It's what can I say? No pun. Whatever. What was I gonna say? I think you definitely need to improve that position with Shaka. But after that, I think the rest of your roster is pretty much for you got a quality players, and maybe you can improve your coach. I think your coach is another guy that
probably need more like a definite.
Yeah, I mean, look,
that is hands down.
It's early on. But yeah, there's still a lot of questions.
But the problem is that how long do we wait while this manager trains himself up? And because at the minute this club's getting worse by the minute, and so many teams are progressing and we're regressing in a rapid rate of form. So for me, it's not gonna. It doesn't rush for me. This doesn't meet Arsenal's standards. It doesn't meet Arsenal standards on any level. And anyone that tries to justify this, well, do you know what the football club stands for? Really? Because we stand for so much better than this. So much better.
So, Cristiano, one last question on Benfica. Sorry, the Portuguese league in general, and then we'll move on to Portugal. With regard to the Euros. First question is I know everyone always debates the English Premier League being the best. Do you find that when the technical leagues come in play English teams, the creativity plays a big role in why they tend to be kind of successful against them? And then the second thing is, do you think Porto will actually beat Juventus today?
I'll start off with that. I think it's going to be a very tough ask for Porto to hold on and ultimately wind up topping Juventus. Juventus their backs against the wall, right? This is all they got to play for. At the end of the day, they brought in Ronaldo, and even with the coaching change with Pirlo was to win the Champions League, and so they can't afford, obviously, to lose to Porto today. So I think they're going to throw everything at them, kitchen sink, you name it. Everything's going to be thrown at Spalco to Porto today. So it's going to be a very tough matchup for them. I expect, just again, it's like the Arsenals of the world, Benfica, right? You look on paper, Juventus' favorite. I expect them to look. It would be good for Portuguese football if Porto was to score some points for us. But at the end of the day, I do expect Juventus to come away with the victory. As far as the other question with the bit more tactical and technical leagues and stuff, I've always said years ago, no doubt about it. To me, the best league in the world is La Liga because I tend to compare it in baseball terms, right? And in baseball terms, the special players are the 5-tool players, guys that can run, hit, they got power, they got defense. And in Spain, in order to play in that league, you need to be a 5-tool player. You look at a guy and I try to make this comparison for the younger lads, right? Look at a guy like a David Beckham, who was an absolute rock star in English football. Comes in, the guy scoring all these free kicks and all these crosses, putting the ball wherever the hell he wanted. Comes into La Liga and a year and a half later, he's playing defense center mid because he can't cut it out on the wing anymore. It's a totally different totally different, competition, totally different mindset. In English football is a lot like you're an athlete, you can run all day, you're big, you're physical, you're going to play. And a lot of times those big physical guys don't have the technical ability of a smaller guy. But now I think with the inclusion and all of a sudden the English Premier League, you start looking around at teams and it's just so many, the influx of players throughout other cultures and other nationalities, like everybody coming over from, other parts of the world. You start seeing that the football side of things is starting to be picked up and taken to the next level. Do I still think that their technical ability is there comparable to the whole of a La Liga? No. Obviously, you can make the argument with, Man Cities of the world. There's teams in English football that have that ability, but as far as 1 through 20, I still think that La Liga is ahead in that respect.
Okay, so now I guess like the next thing would be with regard to Portugal, the biggest question anybody ever asks on this channel is Bruno Fernandes. How good is he? Because everybody looks at GA goals and assists, and they're really high. But people look at people who are like eye test, who are more about the eye test, question whether he's a true number 10 and has the skills. Has the proper skills in that way.
I don't think he's a number 10. And anybody,
can I just make? Sorry, I just wanted, because I missed that point about the leagues. For me, the reason I say that the Premier League is the best, maybe not say in terms of technical or maybe the tactical, maybe ability, but in terms of sheer the level of competition and the level of unpredictability that you get in the Premier League. The top team can lose to the relegation side. You've seen it. Man United were top of the table. They lost to Sheffield United. It's that sort of unpredictability. You don't know quite what's going to happen for the Premier League. Anything can happen.
Absolutely.
So, whereas with La Liga, you've got 2 or 3 teams that are a little bit away from each other, and maybe with like all the other leagues as well. But with this one, yeah, you've got some teams that are on some level, but they can easily drop points if they're not playing on some particular day.
100%, Steven. I mean, when you talk about unpredictability and excitement, I think the firstly that comes to mind is the MLS. No, I'm joking. It's it's the Premier League. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. But when we're talking about technical terms, you look at even the smaller sides in La Liga, those guys are playing great football. Yeah. They're not coming out of the back and just booting it up. They're coming out of the back, playing with the ball, building up play. That's what I was talking about. But as far as unpredictability and even competitiveness to a certain extent, I mean, come on, excitement is the Premier. Like you said, first place can lose to last place, and nobody will even bat an eye. It's like, okay, we expected that. In La Liga, Barcelona loses to anybody, you're just like, whoa, what just happened? Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's not a knock on the EPL by any stretch.
No. Just,
yeah. For me, in my opinion, I think the Italian league is coming back, man. I think the Italian league. I know it's not a popular opinion, but for me, the past couple of seasons, the Italian league has been very, very competitive, very, very competitive, and I think that. It's going to go back to kind of like the back into the 2000s and the 90s, where that was like going to be the top league. And I think that if you look at La Liga, not La Liga, if you look at the Italian league, you have Juve, Inter Milan, Roma, Lazio,
Milan's on the bounce back. That's my second squad that they're on the bounce back. Yeah. It's going to take them a little while. For me, and then you got Atalanta, who's done a tremendous job. Yeah. Don't forget about Fiorentina.
Milan back in the day with Kaká, Seydorf.
So we go way before that. I mean, like Relentless
said. That's
Ruud Gullit, Van Basten, Rijkaard, Simoni, Baresi, Costa Curta, Maldini. That whole team was crazy. But yeah, I mean, look, that's that period from the mid '80s to the late 2000s. There was no doubt who the best league in the world was.
Yeah, and that's why Henry didn't win the Ballon d'Or, because you remember Pablo Nedved won it because he played in the
Lazio. Lazio or Juventus, right? I don't recall.
Though, isn't it?
Yeah. For me, I think Serie A, we talk about the big six. I think they have a big A. I think there's at least 8 teams that can all battle it out, especially this season with Pirlo and Juve just being idiots and not doing what they need to be doing. So I think
I don't think they're gonna reach that height anytime soon, because the structure the league, the structure of the league, the facilities, right? The structures, not the structure. I'm sorry, the structures in the league. They're outdated, man. All these stadiums, with the exception of Juve Stadium and maybe 1 or 2 new stadiums in the league, these are all stadiums that were built for the 1990 World Cup. They're all, and players want to play in new stadiums. You know, they want to play in packed stadiums. Half of these stadiums in Italy are empty. The one thing you can't ever discredit and you can't question is the pack. I mean, not to say that there isn't passion in other countries, but in England, every single stadium is packed to capacity. You know, regardless if it's a new stadium, an old stadium, regardless if you're an Arsenal, if you're Sheffield United, it doesn't matter. These stadiums are packed, and players want, and they keep adding seats, by the way. And you know, the players want to play in front of packed stadiums. They want to be in front of, you know, all the eyes around the world. Right now, I think it's going to take a little bit of time for the Serie A to get their stadiums, you know. How do I put it? To get them to remodelize all these stadiums, remodel and have them all, you know, meet the standards of other teams around them. I mean, look at Benfica Stadium. Benfica Stadium gives 6-0 to any stadium in Italy, with the exception of the San Siro. But that's all that that's all the ground.
I've gone to Napoli Stadium, and their facilities are shit.
Which one?
It is the one in Naples for Napoli.
Oh, the Maradona, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that is crap.
Mm-hmm.
That is crap because
the Valencia Stadium. What's it called? Valencia is very old stadium.
Hang on.
Mestalla?
The Mestalla.
They lose with Portaloos, right? You had one style to get a Pepsi and packet of crisps. That is it.
Yeah, but I like an old stadium because my uncle, he's a journalist, and he said he went to the San Siro.
I've been to the Emirates, but I got more service.
But for me, like I like
Highbury. Sorry, Highbury is an old stadium, but I got
who's your
more
uncle?
Service than that.
Relentless. Give him a shout out. Who's your uncle? He said he's a journalist. Give him a shout out. Who's your uncle?
Oh, his name is Joe. His name is Joe. Let me see
Joe?
if I can find his Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, just find Joe. Guys, look for Joe.
No.
Joe.
That narrowed it down.
Yeah, and then he so basically he went to the San Siro, and he was just saying, like, those type of stadiums, like, when you kind of just walk in, you kind of feel like the history, if that makes sense. Maybe it's because it looks old. Maybe
but the San Siro is well kept. The San Siro is well kept. Like you said, it was called the whatever it's called now, the Maradona Stadium in Napoli. That place, come on, that's not. I mean,
but I kind of like the old stadiums because it has a nice old school feeling to it. I feel like I would like that.
That one's not, to be honest. I think that didn't call to me like Highbury. I went to Highbury, right? I got more service to be for starts at Highbury, right? That's an old stadium. That's built in the 30s. Those two East and West Stands were built in the 30s, for example, right? And they were way ahead of their time back in them days with the heated flooring and everything like that, right? That stadium spoke history to you in the face, right? That's history in a stadium. That's prime example if you want to find that.
I think when a club changes the stadium up too much, I think they go down more of the commercial route. In my opinion, because if you look at Juve Stadium, Juve compete for Europe every single year. But I think Sunderland, who are in like the League 2, like 3rd division, I think they have the same size stadium as Juve. So
Juve just got a brand new stadium, 42,000 seats, which is a joke.
Yeah, it's like Juve.
In Italy, they had to keep it down because it's going to be hard to fill these stadiums each week.
Yeah.
So they decided
like Barca don't even fill the stadium. Barca don't fill the stadium. They have a big stadium. They don't even fill it. I think at most they get like 50,000
stadium. To be honest,
they're 94,000. Or 98,000. They
I think they're 90. I think 99.
I thought they were over 100,000.
They're 90. They're in the 90s. They're 90. Benfica Stadium.
All I know is there's a lot of seats. That's all I know.
Benfica used to have Stadio da Luz. The old Stadio da Luz used to host up to 120,000. When Portugal won the U20 World Cup in 1991 against Brazil, there was 132,000 because the World Cup that year was held in Portugal. Figo,
yeah, 99,000.
Yeah,
record. They had a record attendance of 120,000 in 1986.
And also, Cristiano, I just want to ask you a question about Benfica and how you think it's going. Obviously, we were just talking about, a couple minutes ago, talking about João Felix, all the good players that you've produced over the years. Do you like the way the club is going in terms of being a selling club, or do you think that you guys can keep your best players? Do you like the route it's going?
I hate that term. I hate that term being known as a selling club. I hate that, a feeder club. I despise that. But at the same time, I understand that in order for teams like Benfica and these smaller countries to compete with the big boys, they're going to have to sell some of these players. Now, the difference is that, from a team like Porto, who won the Champions League in 2004, who won the 2003 Europa League, then I believe in 11 or 12, I forget what year it was. It might have been 11. They won the Europa League as well, again with Falcao and James Rodriguez and all those guys. The difference between them and us is we get a guy like João Felix who shows up and tears the world apart, and we turn around, we sell him. Same season, right after he just showed up, Porto was able to hold on to these guys for 2, 3, 4 seasons and able to keep these guys together and mount a serious, threat to other teams in European football. Now, again, so basically to answer your question more directly is I understand Benfica is going to need to sell players, but I wish they would hold on to these guys a little bit longer rather than sell them the first opportunity. And we did that with Ruben Diaz, for example. He stayed with us for 3 years. But that was
I wanted him at Arsenal, man.
Yeah, we need to keep the Ruben Diaz, the Gonzalo, but the João Felixes, the Victor Lindelofs, the Edersons, the Renato Sanchez, keep these guys together for 3-4 years, and now just look how much different you'd be talking about Benfica today.
I have a few questions as well about Benfica in general. What do you think about Luis Felipe Vieira, the president?
Come on, man, you're trying to get me banned here, aren't you? Look, I think Luis Oliveira should be praised for his initial work, what he did at the club. He had a hand in obviously this beautiful stadium behind me being built. He had a hand in this, in kind of putting a Band-Aid on the debt on the club at the time, where I think only Manchester United had more debt than Benfica at one period of time. He turned the corner, right? Obviously built the great youth facility at Seixal. He's done a lot of great work, but I think over the last 5, 6, 7 years, there's a lot of questions as to what direction this club is taking. Once he let go of our current coach now, Jorge Jesus, in 2015, he wound up going to Sporting. We didn't want to re-sign him, and that day going forward, we kind of made the decision where we wanted to invest in the youth department and promote these guys, and it worked to a certain extent. But now you see that the roster hasn't been filled year after year, right? Been restocked with quality players throughout the world in order to get Benfica to the next level, and you can tell they're suffering right now. So there's just so much turmoil when it comes to Luis Oliveira. There's so many question marks outside the field. They're accused of tampering here and bribing this one and there's just so much going on outside of the 4 lines. And so when there's all these questions swirling, I think at times you're just better off parting ways in order to clear the air for the club, because this club absolutely deserves a lot more than what the current situation. There's very divided. The fan base is very divided, and a lot of it has to do with Luis Vieira. So again, I think he should be thanked for his initial work at the club, but I think it's time to pack your things and go home, man.
It sounds like you're talking about Wenger, bro. It sounds like you're talking about Wenger.
No, I'm gonna tell you, right? I was talking about this before we went live with Steven here and my man. I'm surprised that you guys have this, for lack of a better word, this hate towards Wenger, and yet I barely see anyone sending some of that hate towards your owner, Stan Kroenke, who I think, from again, as being in America, Kroenke's American, and watching from afar, I think that guy has a lot more fault, right? A lot more say in the current situation. The demise of the great Arsenal of the world. I think he's got a lot more say in it than what you guys make it. I'm not surprised. Yeah, Stan Kroenke. Yeah, the Kroenke.
Nah, Stan stays in and worries about the Rams. He sends his son to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
No, I get it. But at the end of the day,
he's got his son doing all the dirty work here, so he doesn't have to worry about Arsenal.
So it doesn't bother you that your majority owner doesn't care about your club, that he's just looking at your club as a business.
No, we know he cares. We do.
Kroenke gets a lot of hate.
We do worry about the fact that he's too busy at the Rams, not caring, right? And to be honest, right, he can burn with his money, to be honest, because he drives me absolutely insane. The fact that this guy doesn't even know that we're even playing, right? Let alone if we're winning a game or losing a game. This guy doesn't care, right? And this is why people, when this Dangote player coming, one, I think it's either PR. Two, I think it might be even just because of waiting for the right moment. If you're waiting for the right moment, then obviously you're in it for money. You're not in it for the club. Because if you love the club, you do it now. You get us out of this mess. So, for me, but then again, with the way the Conkies have been treating us, it's worth a shout. It's worth a shout going for this new owner, because this guy, we're not going to win a title under this owner. Simple.
See, I think
see the thing. You can go, Cristiano.
No, I'll make it quick. I think Arsene Wenger, there's definitely a lot there to be questioned under his final years at Arsenal. But I think he was taking the public hit for the Cronkies of the world. I think he was just pitching, coming out with the company line that I don't want to. So I think again, I think some of that anger should be directed at the crowd. Just my opinion. I think they're more worried about building their Disneyland. They're more worried about building Disneyland in LA. And I don't really think he cares much about the club. He just sees a club that's making money. They're making money every year, and look, it's a good investment. But I think
the thing with Kroenke,
we're still angry with him.
I think the thing with Kroenke is that. Okay, Steven, do you want to go?
Yeah, sorry.
I think the thing with Kroenke is that. Yeah, he's not the best owner in world football. We all know that. But if you look at the club, we had Usmanov. I don't know if you guys remember. We had Usmanov, who's
the Russian.
Everton. Yeah, and I know a lot of people. I know some Arsenal fans didn't really like him for whatever reason. I don't know why, but he wanted to turn this whole club around when he started to see it going downhill. And then Kroenke kind of took 100. I think he bought the shares. Took 100% like full ownership, and since then we just been so mediocre. And I think that yes, we do spend money. Also spend money. We spend more money than Liverpool, who won the Champions League 2 years ago. We spend money, but I think the problem is that when you get an American owner, he has businesses over here, business over in America, businesses in Europe. He bought this football club hoping that he can make a lot of money from the Super League. Arsenal getting into the Super League. That's why he bought the club. He came out and said, in an interview a long time ago, saying that he didn't really buy the club to win trophies. And I think that's a big thing, because he doesn't have that much of an emotional connection with Arsenal.
I want that guy gone. If I'm an Arsenal fan,
I'm
out.
We want him gone. And he already said when he bought it, I'm not. If I wanted to.
He bought it for the Super League.
If I bought this to win trophies, I wouldn't have bought it in the first place. Simple as that. So he doesn't want to win it, right? And then he goes on to say, "Oh, we want to win it like the Leicester model." Well, I'm sorry, the Leicester title was a fluke, right? There's no way you're gonna do that, right? Not in any way, shape, or form.
So I guess the question I was trying to have is, I guess on the Portugal side of things for the Euros. What do you think of Bruno Fernandes? And then I guess like you guys, it was a good conversation. It's just I feel like I don't know if Cristiano has other things to do. That's the only thing.
Whining Bruno is look. He's a fantastic talent. Guy's one of the best penalty takers in the world, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much. He's one of the best penalty takers in history.
When in doubt, there's a PK showing up for Bruno Fernandes. But look, he's a fantastic player. I don't think he's a 10. I know before you asked if he was a 10. He's not a 10.
Yeah, he's not a 10.
No way he's a 10. He's more of a box-to-box guy with a free roll. And I get it, the old school days, free rolls meant 10s, but he's not a 10. He's a guy that has to get the ball between the lines, and he could obviously set people up going forward. He has the ability to score them. Look, he's just a well-rounded player. I think Portugal is very well served with him, and I think being at Man United, it's fashionable to knock Portuguese, right? Knock Portuguese players. We saw with Ronaldo, then Nani, and now it can't expect Bruno to be Cristiano Ronaldo. There's not many of those, and throughout the history of football. But at the end of the day, it's very fashionable to knock Portuguese guys. It's very easily done, and I'm not playing that card. Please trust me. I don't really care. Because when a guy's Portuguese and he deserves it, I give it to him as hard as anybody else. But I just think that these expectations that have been put on him, like you see Paul Scholes talk about, you know, oh yeah, he doesn't deserve the Player of the Year because he doesn't score against top 6 teams. Or like, would you ever picture Paul Scholes saying that about a British guy on his own Manchester United? Again, this is not at Arsenal. Nobody's asking Paul Scholes for his opinion on Bernardo Silva at Manchester City. We're talking about his opinion on his own club, on a player on his own club. It makes no sense to me for him to come out and be that critical. And I think it has a lot to do with that whole Portuguese thing and the animosity between the two nations when it comes to, you know, the Euros and Rooney stomping on Ricardo Carvalho's nuts and stuff like that. I just don't think it's something I would do. I wouldn't criticize one of my teammates or somebody that represents my club like these guys are doing. And at the end of the day, Bruno Fernandes said, look, I score against Tottenham. It ain't my fault that they're out of the top 6. Right? It's not his fault. So now I guess they, you know, so I guess to defend them a little bit. But yeah, Portugal's very well served in that retrospect. I mean, our rosters is absolutely ridiculous compared to the one that won the Euros in 2016. I think our team is much better now than we were then.
Well, these guys know my opinions on Bruno. I'm a bit harsh on Bruno, to be honest.
No.
To me, I think he's a very good player. I think he's a very good player. For me, in that number 10 role, he doesn't have that kind of that if factor to play that number 10 role. I think he can play number 8. I'll either play him on like in midfield, like number 8, or play him on the right because I don't think he has that.
He's not even the right way. He's got to play in the middle. But you know, obviously nowadays you're playing at 4-4 in a 4-3-3, and you have the two. So look, he's just give him the free role in the midfield, let him orchestrate things. And look, say what you want about him, whether you're a fan of his or not. The fact is, he's come in to Man United, and I think he's been a lot better than anyone anticipated
since he's come in.
Yeah, he's been, and I think if Man United. I think they're kicking themselves in the butt now because if they thought that he could perform to the level that he's performing, they would have gone and gotten him in the summer, which they originally were talking about in the summer. They waited until January transfer window. So again, whether you think the guy is one of the top players in the world or not, that's besides the point. The fact of the matter is that he's become one of the better players at Manchester United, and when he's on, they're usually on, and they're playing up to his level.
So he's a very good penalty taker, very good at set pieces as well, man. I rate him when it comes to those things. Like I say, he's a great player, but
but
I feel like he needs to work on his game a bit more.
Did you say he scores more goals for set pieces than the actual open play?
Yes, that's true.
He's very good at set pieces.
No, he's good. He's good at that. I'm just saying that I think he needs to improve like a bit of other parts in this game.
Well, Steven, if that's not true, it seems like it's true. It seems that like he scores more goals from set pieces.
He is goals in total 24, penalties scored 12, free kicks scored 1 in the Premier League.
Those are most of his goals, though.
So that's his whole time. So he scored 24 goals in total, and he has scored 13 of them through set pieces.
Okay, so that's half. That's more than half. That's 50, like almost 55%.
So the other half has been open play, so it's just about fair, really.
No, but when he does score from open play, they are some good goals though. Like outside the box, he's very good at that. He's very good at hitting the ball from distance. I think your key play in that 2022 Euro, I think it's going to be. I actually think it's going to be Bernardo. Jesus Christ, Bernardo. And João Felix, I think they're going to be the key for you guys. And also, what's going on with your right back situation? Because you guys have a lot of decent right backs. You got Cancelo, you got Nelson Semedo. I swear, I almost said
Suarez. Cedric. Yes. So we have the guy Ricardo. What's his name? Ricardo. Forget his last name, from Leicester City.
Pereira.
Pereira.
It's charisma. Is charisma still gonna? Do you think he's gonna make it, or he's gonna retire?
No, I don't think he'll make it. I don't think he's getting called
up. Outside the boot finish, man. He's
a legend. I think he's a legend.
I'm just gonna read these last stats out. Right, so 24 goals, 17 assists, 20 big chances.
You love Bruno, don't
you? Right, and accurate through. No, because you keep saying that he's a
great player. I mean, he's just not my
goals. 157. No, you were starting this agenda. Like,
it's not an agenda. It's like a quick opinion, quick statement. That's all it is,
man. Cristiano, I guess like the final thing to say is, what would you say? I guess last question before I think you might have to go. So
yeah, because I gotta.
What would you say is needed for a dark horse run?
Dark horse. I don't think Portugal's a dark horse. I think anyone that thinks Portugal's a dark horse is sleeping.
Sleeping. Okay.
I mean, they're one of the best teams
We won the Euro in 2016, and I get it. We got lucky. 5 draws, and if the semantics of it, if the rules were still no third place team, I get it, yada yada. But look, at the end of the day, we won the thing, and I think that the team is a lot better. You think about Portugal right now. You think about this. They're playing in a 4-3-3 system. Yeah, they're playing a 4-3-3 system, right? So you're gonna have one of Bernardo Silva, João Felix, or Jota from Liverpool. One of those guys is not playing. Think about that. And then you got André Silva, who's tearing it up in the Bundesliga. He's not even a thought. He's on the bench. You got Pedro Neto, who's tearing it up at Wolverhampton. He's not even a thought. He's on the bench. You have we have so many options. So think about it's going to be
Neves in midfield.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to have Cristiano Ronaldo, and then you got to pick 2 of the 3: João Felix, Bernardo Silva, or Jota. That's what you like. And again, and then you go to right back. I would actually play Nelson Smith on the right and João Cancelo on the left. I do like Rafael Guerreiro, but I would do that. Then in the midfield, you got João Moutinho. I get okay, he's not sexy, but he's still formidable player. Captain? Danilo. The captain is Pepe. He's probably going to be old man Pepe. I don't even know the captain of the team. No, it's Ronaldo. What am I talking about?
He's such a wind-up merchant, Pepe.
I'm sorry. I'm so stupid. It's Ronaldo. Ronaldo is the captain. I don't know what the hell's... Yeah, Ronaldo's the captain. Yeah.
Steven, I would say let's end it there because it was a really good podcast. And you want to shout out your socials, Cristiano?
And yeah, then, you could check me out on anything. Like I said, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, 10CO10. Check out the Benfica podcast on all those platforms as well. Look, man, I want to appreciate you guys for having me on. Whenever you want to do this again, just hit me up, man. I'll be more than glad to join you guys whenever you want.
We'll definitely do this again if you want to catch up.
All right. Anytime you guys want. You got my digits, my contacts. Just hit me up.
Yeah, we'll hit you up for something like towards.
Let's go, Gooners. Let's go.
Yeah, because we do sort of on here. We also follow the
beautiful. Let me know.
So we'll let you know about the Euros and stuff like that. So yeah,
all right. Let me know when you guys build the statue for David Luiz so I can show up in London. Take it easy, guys. Pleasure talking to
you. Yeah,
that's never happening.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
It's all right. Thanks for everyone that's tuned in as usual. It's been a good podcast. So can Arsenal now, after watching that, can come back? Do you guys want to see the clip? Because I've the clip of me going absolutely mental, right, when the second goal went in, right?
I don't want my ears to bleed.
It's on YouTube.
You scream so much.
It's on YouTube now, so you can go check it out now. But if you want to watch the clip, then you have to say now before I hold your piece, otherwise we're going. So you got 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. Right.
And
okay. That's it. Yeah. So I'll run the clip. Fuck it.
Shut up. No, I'm being serious. Oh, you're joking.
That was terrible.
Come on! What was I saying? Come on!
You fucking guns!
Come on! Gabby things! You are having
assholes!
Come on! He's having Jorginho on his profile. Put it on now. Put it on now, Gabby things.
Fucking weed-minded bastards!
Why would you pass it straight back to the goalkeeper?
No, he headed it back. He tried to head it back.
Was it an own goal?
No. It wasn't an own goal. It wasn't.
No, it's only an own goal if it's the shot's off target and the deflection lets it go.
That's a silver.
Oh, Gabby's ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
And we're going to throw it off for Partey. Oh, shit. You're not going to like it, Steve.
Willian's coming on.
Yeah.
Willian.
The bias off for Willian.
I'll be back.
Willian.
You know what? I should.
Get this cunt out of this club now! Now! How can you bag this?
Go on, Stephen, you tell him.
Fucking Willian over Martinelli! You Arteta in wastemans! Go fuck off about your fucking process!
Lovely. Oh, Lacazette's put that on his shoes.
Done! Fucking
Yo,
Wow.
in fairness, I want to put it out like
Full clip
the
is on
pressure
YouTube.
cooker was building. That was probably like one of like the absolute like worst goal.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was really pissed off that we would have been
Yeah.
out of Europe for 2 straight years.
We gotta wrap this up anyway, because I've got to get myself ready for the next one, and I also have dinner. Yeah, I gotta run. So thanks for everyone that's tuned in. Right, been a great podcast, and we'll be back later on with the liver awareness show. If not 7, it'll be 7:30. So yeah, until then, everyone stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.